Good morning. It is Thursday and it's day 12 on the court. I want to show this little basketball. This is a teeny basketball. It's a stress ball. So they have these, if you're stressed about something, you can just sit there and squeeze this all day long. Whoops. Okay. So today we are going to practice the drills that we did yesterday, the team plays. We're going to practice those, and then we're going to practice learn a new skill and practice it, and it's called the pick and roll, and it is one of the most important plays in basketball. The NBA and Olympic sports teams actually practice this quite a bit. And so this is one of the most important plays. I'd never actually heard of it until I started learning basketball, and actually I learned about it when I started writing my book, Grave Robbers, and the main character in that story is a basketball player, and he's on a high school team at Skyline High. And so I was learning different plays, and this one's called the pick and roll, or it can be called the screen and roll. And how it works is you have a screen set. The first thing that's going to happen, it's a partnership between two players on the same team, of course. The pick comes, and the teammate comes, and they're called the pick because they're going to pick off the defender. The ball handler is dribbling the ball. How do you explain this when you just barely learned how to? All right.
Do it, Mom.
We'll just go in the steps that I learned from one of the other tutorials. I listened to a bunch of them this morning and learned this really quickly. I had learned it earlier, but to be able to teach it, that's even harder. So the first thing that's going to happen is the ball handler, they call them the cutter or the ball handler, the person that's actually dribbling the ball and has the ball in their possession, is going to close the distance between them and their own defender to make this work. And then one of their teammates is going to set the screen, and they're going to set it close to the defender and set a path so that the ball handler, the cutter, can cut close to them and cut through the path and drive to the basket and make the shot. And after they cut or turn the corner around the screener, then the screener will the pick will roll, and they will roll in the direction that the cutter is cutting past them and open up to the basket. And then if the ball handler or the cutter cannot make the shot because the other defenders follow that person, then the cutter can pass the ball to the pick, and the pick will be open for a shot. So we're going to practice that. Now we're going to practice the team drills that we practiced yesterday, which is we're going to do the behind the back drill and then also the coordination drill. Wow. Okay,
that was good.
Now let's do the chest pass, bounce pass. I'll do bounce and you do chest.
Okay.
So now we'll do you want to do chest or
I'll do the bounce first and then you do.
All right, ready? Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Right.
All right, that was That's why we do this, to practice this coordination. Okay, ready? Let's do it again.
Yeah.
So,
Coordinated.
are you doing chest press again? No.
I'm still doing the bounce.
You do that. Okay, ready? 1, 2, oh, 1, 2. Okay, let's go back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, now let's change it the other way. Okay. I'm bouncing. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2. You in my mind, I knew that was there somehow. I was trying to. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh. We might need some more practice. I forgot. I was bouncing that. Okay.
The next thing I knew, it was just going at the same time at each other. And I was like, oh no. That was good.
Okay.
Where did they go? It's a good thing I like you or something.
So my coordination needs some work, and remembering that I'm the one doing the bounce. Catching. All right. So that didn't turn out as good as we had hoped for, but I mean, it wasn't so bad. But I just forgot the last throw. I forgot that I was doing the bounce. I don't know why. All right, okay. So now we're going to go ahead and film the pick and roll, and we'll go to that position with we have an extra helper today on the court.
We gotta meet Mr. Bear.
We'd like to introduce you to our defender. He's been so kind to, I don't know if I can even see him.
You can.
It's hard because I can't.
I'm right next to him. You can see him.
Okay. Okay.
He
This
can't
is.
see you though.
Yeah, he
see
can't
me.
see me. All right.
Wait,
So this.
why don't you get in the shot?
All right.
You're still not there. Oh, now you are.
Okay. Oh, here I can see it. It's hard to see with the sun. Go a little bit. Yeah. Go a little bit. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you go.
All right. So this is our defender, Mr. Bear, and he's going to help us with our pick and roll, because it's always helpful to have another person help with this particular drill. Although this exercise can be done even with one player, but it's always easier to have more. So Bear, thanks for coming, and we'll just start.
Please bear with us. No, just kidding.
Yeah, bear with us. So here's our defender, Mr. Bear, and I'm the ball handler, and the one with the ball has the ball in my possession, or they call it the cutter in this situation. And so I will be bouncing the ball here. My defender is coming in front of me, and at this point, I will try and get as close as I can. If I move back and the defender moves back with me, then I can keep driving towards the basket. But if they stop right here, and I try to get them to freeze and stay in place and get them as close to me as possible, because I don't want them to have a lot of movement once my screen comes. And so I'm going to get as close as I can to them without them getting the ball. And then Rachel will come as my pick, and she will set the screen, and she'll set it as close as she can, and whatever her back is facing to is the direction that she wants the ball handler or the cutter to go. So she's here, then she's going to set a path here. Did you turn on again? We had to turn it off whichever direction her back is the pathway she wants the cutter to go. So she's going to set her screen, set it wide, and just kind of set there solid, stationary. Once she's set, so she quickly comes and sets really strong, and then the cutter is going to cut close around her, touching shoulders, even just we might have to, I might have to knock your shoulder with mine.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
be gentle.
Like
But
you
anyway.
were with the drills, huh?
Yeah, and when we switch, you can do the same. I mean, we'll switch
Well,
places.
no, I'm gonna be even more gentle with you, Mom.
And so then the cutter comes around and proceeds to make the basket.
Woo! Just like that.
Just like that. And they can make a layup, but I haven't learned layups yet. That will be next week. So another option, if the defender, if the pick's defender comes this way, then I may have a hard time getting, I might have to pull them away, and then the pick can open up. Actually, this is what's going to happen no matter what. Whether the defender goes this way or the other defenders, this one goes this way and this one goes this way. I mean, okay. Whether this one goes this way and follows the ball handler or the cutter, or they go under the screen, is which they call it, going the other way, then there may be a possibility that the cutter won't be able to make the basket. So the pick needs to roll, and they will usually pivot and roll towards the basket and make it open so that they can pass it. Okay, so Rachel's the pick, and she's going to set the screen, and she's going to set as wide as she can and as close to the cutter's defender she possibly can. And then she's going to set there, and when the cutter comes around, the cutter wants to make contact with the pick as close as can be so that the defender doesn't slip in between them. Okay, so that's protecting the cutter from having the defender, it's making a pathway so that the cutter can go and make the basket.
And it gives the
Yeah, and so
pick a
but then
momentum.
what happens, sometimes the defender may go around the screen or go under the screen, or they may follow the cutter to the basket. Either way, the pick needs to be ready in case the cutter needs to pass the ball to them. So as soon as the cutter passes the pick, Rachel, as the pick, is going to pivot around and roll towards the basket this way. Hold her hand up.
I think it's the other hand, that one, yeah.
Hold her hand up that she's available. And so if
It's the one towards the basket, I think, yeah.
yeah, so if the basket, if the ball handler can't make the basket, they can pass it to her and she can make the basket, because then she'll be open and away from the defender. So if the defenders follow the ball handler, then she has someone to pass the ball to make the basket. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to show that, practice it, learn it, practice it, and go from there. Okay, set the screen, and then I'm going to go around.
Let me sit just like that.
All right, let's do that again. Let's do that again. That was good.
I think he should
So
be
you can set
over there so I can set.
so you can set the screen, or let's see, let's do that here. Let's do it here. All right. Ready? Here, you come from over here.
I have my defender on me.
All right. Ready, and do not throw the ball out of bounds. All right. Let's try that again. why it's good to be shot ready. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, nice. Now, let's do it to where I actually pass it.
Okay.
And the best passes to make, you don't want to lob the ball over because the defenders will
do it
intercept
like
it.
that.
So the best ones are the bounce passes.
Oh,
So that's what
that's true.
the experts have said. All right, so I'm going to do this again. And so that.
We gotta do that again. I traveled.
All right.
Maybe that's why we do this.
They say that the NBA
A little
and
bit
the
faster.
Olympics practices every day, and so I think you're gonna.
Well, I'm towards where you want to go.
Okay.
Get back to where I want you.
Okay. So.
All right, that's more of it. Oops. Right. Oh, one more time. Yay!
All right.
Okay.
Now let's do it where you're actually going to set the screen where I go this way. So you'll open up that way, and I'll go this way, and you'll go that way.
Okay.
For the ball. Okay.
Ooh, maybe not.
All right. This time I'm going to pass the ball to you. Okay.
Okay.
set the screen, but then you're going to go that way. So I'll turn this way, you'll go that way, but then you'll make a foul shot. Okay? Yeah. Or a three-pointer shot. Whatever. With either there or there. Foul shot. Okay, ready? Okay. Set the screen. the beginning of our pick and roll drill, which was really good. It gave us the beginning of a very crucial play that, I mean, it's funny, I've never heard of it before, and then when I was listening to some other footage of basketball games, they talk about it all the time. The commentators are mentioning people going under the screen and pick and roll, and all those terms are being used very fluently, and I'm thinking, how did I miss that? But if you don't know what it is, then you're not going to hear those things. But it was fun. I enjoyed that. We'll practice that more in the future, and practice, I think next week I'm going to work on layups, start figuring those out. I never was very coordinated. As you could see, I don't know what, I mean, in some things I was coordinated and other things no. And today, earlier with that pass, you could see that. But anyway, we hope you have a great, wonderful rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow.